So you all have been given a directive by your Louisville Urban League coordinator to have your camera on during the meeting. So that is definitely something that you want to get into the habit of doing. All right. But that's not a requirement for your grade. Okay. That's just something that the Louisville Urban League requests for you to do. All right. Believe it or not, I have students who, on-campus students who think that if they just show up for our virtual meetings or even in person, when I have in-person meetings, that they're going to get credit for showing up. But that's not the case for this particular class. All right. So if you have viewed that live virtual session from our first meeting, okay, if you need more instruction, I did go over quite a bit in our first session, but when you get to Blackboard, the first thing you want to view, of course, and it will always have view down here. This is just saying this is an instructional document, okay? But this one says read me first. So if you read me first, it'll tell you what this is all about, okay? How to get started in the class, what the class is going to accomplish, and how you get started. Okay. Of course, if you have any questions, you can always use the Ask Questions forum, and that is an area for students only. Okay. So there are some students who have successfully completed the first 2 steps on the syllabus, the preparation steps. So if you have any questions, ask your classmates. Okay, some people feel very comfortable with doing that. All right, more so than sending an email to your professor, and I get that. So this area is just for you. I also provide you with Troy's email address here. And I also provide you with my email address if you need any additional assistance. Okay. Now I'm available during office hours, and those are listed on the first page of your class syllabus. Okay. Now the rest of this document here, the read me first, is just telling you what you should see when you get into Blackboard. Okay. There are only 7 folders or modules. Okay. And so those are things that you click on, okay, to get into the specifics of the class. Are there any questions? Any questions? Okay, so we'll move on. If you do have any questions, you feel free to, put it in the chat, or you can click to raise your hand, or just turn your mic on and, say, hey, Professor Jacob, can you clarify this? Okay. So of course, read me first, and you're just going to go down the line. Okay. So the next one would be this, what success looks like. All right. And this is a document. This is just something that you would view, and it tells you how to be successful in the class as far as your assignments. Okay, so it gives you a breakdown of what a successful effort looks like versus an unsuccessful effort. Okay, so just read through that. I'm not going to go through everything here, so I'm just trying to give you an overview. Okay, and then once you have received a reply from me basically confirming that you're ready to go to the introductions voice thread. You're going to view this document, introduce yourself first, and after you do that, you're ready to make your introduction, okay? But before you do anything on Blackboard, you have to send an email to me with the answers to preparation step 1 and preparation step 2 on your class syllabus, okay? And then the final thing, of course, your ask questions is optional. That's for you to conversate amongst yourselves. The last thing that you will do in each one of these folders or modules, those two are used synonymously, is the exit slip. Now, what the exit slip is, it's just 4 questions, 4 very easy questions. Number 1, how would you rate your understanding of this area? Okay, meaning the start here folder. Okay, everything that's in there. How would you rate your understanding? 4, meaning I understand everything and can apply what I've learned. And then, of course, 1 being I didn't really understand too much. Okay, and I feel completely lost. Okay, so this is just for you to sort of assess where your understanding is. The second question is, what is your one big understanding that you got from this area? Okay, so there's an open box where it says enter your answer. This is where you can type in your answer, okay, to that question. Number 3, what are you most confused about in the start here area? Okay, so basically what this means is if you answered with anything less than a 4 in that first question where you had to rate your understanding, then you should be able to type in your exact issue. Okay. Now, step 3 or step 4, this is for you to suggest, well, hey, Professor Jacob, what would make sense for me in this area would be if you did XYZ. Okay. And I take these commendations and suggestions very seriously because I want you to have an engaging experience. All right. So if something is not quite making sense for you, then of course I look to you as the student to sort of give me a heads up that maybe this is not working for you. Okay, so those are 4 very brief questions, okay, that you're going to get at the end of each of the areas that we have, okay, each of the folders. Are there any questions about the learner's exit slip? And if you're saying anything, you may want to take yourself off mute because I don't hear you. All right. So back to our start here area. And simply when you're finished with the learner's exit slip, you just click on that folder and it'll sort of collapse everything and you're ready to go to the next step. Okay, so everything is numbered. You're just going from top to bottom. Very easy sort of to navigate. All right. And so what I was going to show you today was how to get started with the content of the class. Okay, So after you have completed everything in the Start Here area, it's time for you to move on to actually completing some assignments. All right. So one thing that you're going to see is, of course, these are instructional documents. Anytime you see a number at the beginning, okay, and then it says view underneath it, that just means that this is an instructional document, meaning I'm giving you some extra details that you're going to need to be successful. All right. Um, then as you progress through, you're going to see some activities that have the words SimBook and then a name to it. Okay, and this one is Introduction to Computers. This is your first assignment in the SimNet system. I use SimNet. It is a simulated set of activities for you to work on this semester in learning all of these different computing concepts and computing skills. All right. So in order to get in there and actually complete something, you're going to have to click on the link. Okay. Now I'm going to bring up for you the SimNet system. And give me just one moment to log in. If you have any questions, please take yourself off mute and ask your question before we get in there. All right, so once you get onto, you click on that Introduction to Computers link. Okay, it's going to bring you to a page that looks exactly like this. Okay, you're going to see computer concepts, and it tells you how many pages are in there. Okay, the number of pages means basically the number of skills, okay, that you're going to um, interact with. All right, so this is a very basic set of activities, and they are listed below. So you just simply scroll down the page. Okay, there's a little square box here on the right hand side of your browser, and this is your scroll box. Okay, so you just scroll down and you get to see all of the different tasks that you're going to be asked to, actually complete. All right, so this list down here confirms with you how much the task is worth, which most of them are worth 1 point. Okay, and then once you complete it, it will give you a check mark. So I'm going to just go into one of these activities. Now, it's your choice how you want to actually get into your SimBook. Your SimBook is your chapter. Okay, so anytime you see SimBook, just sort of put that in your mind that this is another chapter that I'm going into, a chapter of the book. So down here you have individual activities. You can go into those individually, or you could use the Open SimBook button to launch all of them. It'll open up. And let me just show you. So when you click on Open SimBook, the first one will come up for you. Okay. And it looks like a standard textbook page. Okay. You can make the page bigger simply by using the little icons up here in the top right-hand corner. And the one that looks like a little person in a circle, okay, actually gives you the ability to change everything on the page. So you just click on the plus and you see behind me how the text is getting a little bit bigger. Okay. And I'm at that age where I need things to be a little bit bigger. So feel free to, make changes there. Now there's another way that you can make things bigger. Of course, in your Google Chrome browser, you can click on that, customize and control Google Chrome. And you can also go into the zoom area and click on the plus sign. And you see how it's getting bigger. If you need to make it smaller, of course, use the minus sign. Okay. Are there any questions so far? All right. So you would simply this is where you're going to take notes. So that 5 subject notebook that I mentioned, you're going to need it when you're going through your sim books. Your sim books is where, you're picking up new information. So I would say in your 5 subject notebook for the class, you're only going to take notes when you have new information, because that's actually when, those new neural pathways in your brain are created, when there's new information. So only jot down new information, meaning something you didn't know before. Okay. So you're just scrolling down the page, reading through the page. Sometimes there are pictures, on the page. You want to definitely take note of those. Okay, because the pictures are basically setting the tone for everything that's around it. Okay. And so this page talks about, hey, technology is everywhere, in the home, okay, in healthcare, in industry, okay, government, okay. So you're just reading this like a normal text page, a textbook page. Does this make sense?
Yes.
Yes.
Awesome. Awesome. All right.
But
So
how did
after,
you get to that Sims book? I'm sorry, I didn't catch that. How did you get to that Sim book?
okay. All righty. Great question. Let me bring this down a little bit. When I click on content here on Blackboard, um, when I came into the Learn Computing Basics, as I said,
Okay.
you're not ready for that yet. But this is how you would do it. This is where the content begins in number 2, Learn Computing Basics.
Okay.
Okay. So, but these are instructional documents leading up to that first activity. Okay. Now, do
Thank you.
you have to, sure, do you have to go through the instructional documents before you do assignments? It's not detrimentally, there's not anything graded in this area. These are just you're viewing it. Okay. You could actually go right into the assignments if you wanted to on SimNet and start there, because there is instruction there. These documents here, I'm just framing your thoughts with additional information. Okay. Hopefully it's helpful information, more details. Okay. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, you're good. You're good. Thank you. All right. Okay. So I was just seeing someone posted something in the chat. So Demetrius, you said yes. All right. So awesome. Thank you. Um, so back on SimNet. Um, and how you're getting to SimNet, of course, is you're just clicking on anything that says SimBook. SimBook means a chapter. Okay, just to be clear. And all of that is listed on Blackboard. So after you've read the page and you've taken some notes, okay, from the page, if you needed to, you may not have to take notes on some things, okay? It's completely feasible that some of the information may not be new to you. In that case, you simply come over here to the little button on the top left of your SimNet page that reads, "Let me try," okay? When you click on that button, what happens is it's giving you a question, okay? And more often than not, it's going to give you a picture, okay? Basically giving you a scenario. But the question here is asking you here to fill in the blank. So the information came from the page that you clicked on the "Let me try." Okay, so it says the blank created some of the earliest computers used for radar and rocket technology. Select your answer, then click done. So you're going to select one of these pictures. Does anyone have an idea of who created some of the earliest computers that were used for radar and rocket technology?
Sounds like NASA.
Military.
Okay, NASA, the military. I would have guessed that too. Some of the stuff you can kind of guess, right? So if I click military here, and you see how the little black box went around that option when I clicked on it, okay? Once you select something, you just simply click done. And right in the center of the screen, it's giving you a confirmation that what you've selected is correct. Okay, and the only thing for you to do is to click the next button. Okay, now if you notice over here, it said the previous step was step 1 of 3. So this is step 2. Okay, and then it's saying, well, select the medical procedure that does not involve computers. Select your answer, then click done. Okay, which one do you think does not involve computers?
Blood donation.
Blood donation.
All right, so let's click A here and click done. Okay, you guys did it. So click next. And the final question, Alex works at a large online company that ships products around the world. Select all of the ways he might use a computer at work and then click done. Now, the point here is Alex works at an online company that ships products. Okay, so this is something like an Amazon or, you know, what's another large site like Walmart.com. Okay, and so you're just
Etsy.
thinking, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Etsy.
Yeah, like Etsy. Yeah, so you're just trying to step into Alex's mindset, okay, and say, well, what would I need if I worked for an online company? What would I be able to do? Okay, and the caveat here is shipping products. So if you're shipping products, you're going to have truck drivers, right? At some point, you're going to have to invoice clients, maybe. You're going to have to track vehicles and packages, right? Now, does design marketing materials seem like something Alex would have to do for a company that ships products around the world?
I
Yes.
would say yes because it had to do with label.
Yes.
Okay. But this is just like shipping the products. This isn't selling the products.
Then the answer
Okay.
would be no.
Right. So I would select all of those except that one and then click done. Okay. That's what I would have done as a student, right? Now, it'll give you a hint, right? And then it tells you select 4 correct answers. So they're all correct. So you were correct from the beginning, right? To select all 4. So sometimes you can, and I did that intentionally so that you can see that sometimes you read something and it doesn't quite make sense, right? And then you go through it. But the good thing about it is SimNet will actually give you a hint. Okay. So it's not to trip you up. This is just for you to learn, if that makes sense. So we click done, and then you have successfully completed the Let Me Try, and you can close. Okay. So once you close, it takes you back to that page and you're ready to go to the next one. So you just click in the center right to go to the next page. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so I see in the chat someone said all of the above, all of the above. That's awesome. Okay. All right. Do we have any questions? Do we have any questions so far?
A quick question. Do you want us to answer even though you're recording?
Yeah. It's going to give you the same questions. Yeah.
Okay.
I was just demonstrating it to you to show you how to do it, but you have to do it on your own individually. Each student has to do it. Now, once you actually complete it, okay, let's go back to this one. A lot of the Let Me Tries are going to have a white check mark on it, okay, to basically signify that you have completed it. Now, when you exit out of it, okay, again, those 4 little or 5 little buttons there are how you navigate through this this chapter. And the arrow that is pointing to the right will take you back to where you started. So that's exit, and then it confirms with you if you want to, are you sure you want to exit? You just click exit, and it'll take you back to that page where it showed you the check marks, you know, that you've actually completed it. Okay. So did that answer your question, Demetrius?
Yes, it did. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Awesome. All righty. Are there any additional questions? Any additional questions about SimNet or Blackboard? Now, Blackboard and SimNet are integrated. Okay. So basically, once you click on something that says SimBook, it will basically, you know, set up your SimNet account. Okay, so you have to click on it first, and then it may say, you know, it may do some confirmations with you, but it's really just a rubber stamp. Okay, so when you click on it, it should take you immediately into SimNet, into that activity. So you're going to have several different activities labeled SimBook. This is where you're just doing some reading in your textbook. Okay, now eventually, and let me show this, eventually in our next folder where it says learn to create simple databases, okay, there are going to be other SimNet activities. And not only are you going to see sim book, okay, but you're also going to see project, okay? So the sim book is where you learn, you're reading the chapters, and then the projects is actually where you apply the skills, okay, that you've learned in the chapter. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. All righty. And again, if you have any questions, you can always post questions to your classmates. And of course, you can always seek out either Troy Rice or myself, and we can, you know, get you the help that you need to be successful. Don't feel like your questions are not valid. You know, feel free to ask questions. Honestly, I found out in my undergraduate program at Eastern Kentucky University that asking questions was how I learned, and it actually helped other students in the class as well because they were too bashful to ask questions. Okay. Now, I have not always been the person that I am now as far as you know, being able to speak in front of people. Sometimes, you know, in my past, and I say, you know, when I became a sophomore in college at EKU, I was still shaking in front of people. I mean, literally shaking, you know, and sweating in front of people when I went to speak. Okay. Um, and that's normal. That's a normal human behavior. So, you know, don't beat yourself up too much. But the turning point for me, and I did not go to college to be a teacher. Okay. I went to college, majored in business and with an emphasis in computer information systems. Okay. So my plan was to work in corporate America, and I did that for a while. But the joy that I got was actually helping other people. All right. But I said that to say this. Um, you know, you might not have the proclivity to ask a question with your voice, you know, put yourself, come off of your mute. But really, that's how you're going to learn. Okay. Ask the questions, because if you're confused, more likely than not, someone else in the class is confused as well.
Hey,
So
Miss Sherry.
feel free to ask questions. Yes.
Yes, I've been trying during this whole class. I haven't been able to log in on my path.
Okay. My path. Well, you should have. Have you been logged in before?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. It could be that your caps lock key is on,
Okay.
and or you're typing your password incorrectly.
Should it be lowercase when I type in the username, which is my name and zero?
No, that doesn't matter. The
Okay.
only time that case sensitivity, that's what that's called. Only time that matters is on your password.
Password.
Okay. The
Yeah, I mean,
username doesn't matter if it's in all caps or lowercase. Okay.
okay.
But I would say if you're having trouble logging in, it's one of two things. Either your caps lock key is on and you're typing, you may be typing the correct password, but you know, just tap that caps lock key, make sure your light is off on the
Right.
caps lock key, and try your password again. If it doesn't work, then what you want to do is go to the main
Okay.
jefferson.kctcs.edu,
Okay. I'm
and
gonna
I'll
follow
show
you.
you. Okay.
Can I follow you
Um,
along?
yes, feel
Okay.
free to.
Jefferson.
So if you ever forget your password, okay, there's a way for you to reset your password. Okay. Now, of course, you have to have your student ID number and your date of birth to do it. Okay.
And
So,
that student ID number is it starts with a 002, right?
well, not for everyone. So, but
Okay.
it does start with a 00. Everyone starts with the 00, but
Right.
after
Okay.
the zeros, it could be something different.
Okay. So let me go. Jefferson at KCTS.
Jefferson.kctcs.edu.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, and it happens. All of us, sometimes I'll forget my password and I have to reset mine. So,
Okay. I'm here. So do I choose Jefferson My Path?
well, let's see. Well, you won't be able to get into my path, right?
Right.
Because you have forgotten your password. Okay. So click on the quick links little button and click on current students.
Okay.
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 Then once you do that, a page of student resources opens up.
Right. Okay.
And that first little tile there that says User Account Center, you click on that.
User Account Center.
Yes, that first square in the
Okay, I
top.
see it.
Okay.
Okay.
So
All right.
once you click there, you have a couple different buttons, but you need to reset your password, right?
Yeah,
So,
I guess set up my user profile too, because
oh, you haven't set it up yet?
yeah, I set it up. So okay, we'll just go with the reset password. Okay.
Yeah, let's see.
So when we get to this part right here, what is my KCTCS email or username or ID? I put that 00 number in.
No, not right there. I think you
Okay.
have to click on reset password. Do you
Okay.
remember your username?
No, I don't.
Okay, so click on I don't know my email or username
Okay. All right.
down below that.
Right.
So this is where it's going to ask you what's your
Right.
birth month, birth date, and then your KCTCS ID, your student ID number.
That would be that 00 number, right?
Right,
Okay.
right.
All right. I got it. Okay.
Yeah, and then once you fill in all three of those, then you're ready to click next, and it will basically prompt you to change your password, but it'll give you your username. Now, what I recommend is that you write that down. You write down your username and your password, you know.
Okay.
Um,
Now, so it's prompting me to receive a text message to my phone. So that's what I'm gonna choose,
yes,
right? Okay.
yes, you've already set it up before. So that's why it's prompting you to do that. Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Now hit next. Okay.
Yep, you got it.
Okay.
So now, sometimes we have to do this stuff to make sure that we know how to fix things when things kind of go wrong. All right. So this is definitely part of the learning process. For those of you who are already in my path, it could happen to you later. So this is a good thing that we're going through this. Okay. Shanae. Shanae says, I'm losing service driving through the mountains. Oh, well, that sounds very relaxing, Shanae. So, but thank you for joining us for as long as you can. Okay. Any additional questions? Anything that I can help you with today while we're still in our class time? You can either put it in the chat or you can take yourself off mute to ask. Now, so someone may ask, well, how do I know if I'm on mute? Okay, let me show you something. I'm going to share my Microsoft Teams window. Well, actually, I'm just going to share my whole desktop. Okay, so you should see my Microsoft Teams window. Well, didn't mean to get out of it. So here I see the chat. Of course, I see the gallery. This is all of the students that are currently in the class right now. And then up at the top here, I see all of these different icons. And there's one for my camera. And then here's one for my microphone. Okay. If I click on the microphone, we see the line that was through the microphone, right? The line through the microphone means that it's turned off. So if you click on it, it's going to turn your microphone on. The same with your camera. If you're using a desktop or laptop to connect to our class meetings, your camera icon in Teams is going to be basically free of any lines or slashes through it. But I'm going to turn mine off so you can see that my camera shot is going to disappear. And then once I turn it back on, then I reappear. Does that make sense? Okay, awesome. So any questions, any lingering questions that I can help you with today?
Well,
Okay, so to finish us out, I'm going to, Miss Jody, are you still on here? I think I see her, not for sure if it's a still image or not, but I wanted to walk you all through how to set up the dark mode. Okay, so let me share my screen. And I'm just going to go into Microsoft Word. Okay. So you can open up Microsoft Word. Actually, you can open up any of the Microsoft 365 apps. And once Microsoft Word comes up, normally it comes up with a brand new document, right? You can click on the File tab. The File tab opens up what is called the Backstage. Okay, the Backstage. From here, you would choose all the way down at the bottom of the list, you would choose Options. And
Goddamn. I can't still get in.
okay. Okay, I'll help you after the session. And we'll get it, okay? So yeah. All right. So far as dark mode is concerned, you want to navigate on the General tab to the Personalize Your Copy of Microsoft Office. Okay. Now, under or next to Office background, you need to have no background. And on Office theme, you choose black. Okay. So make sure you have those set up. All right. Now, the really good thing about dark mode is of course, it's going to save your eyes, right? But the really good thing about it is once you switch in one of the Office or Microsoft 365 applications, it changes it for all applications. Okay, so because we made the change in Microsoft Word, it's going to change it for email, it's going to change it for Excel, you know, all of those are going to be in dark mode. Does that make sense? So hopefully it does. I don't see Miss, let me go back because I'm not seeing participants. Okay, I see. Nope. And Miss Jody is gone, it looks like. But hopefully, hopefully you are able to replay and see how to switch, okay, to that. Are there any questions? Any questions? Okay. All right. So the really good thing about this sort of class is the learning doesn't stop after you leave the class. Okay, so just know that you're going to have access to SimNet, not just during the class, but way after the class is over. Maybe you're working for a company and you need to know how to you know, put a double underline under some words. You can log into SimNet separately and go to the SimNet library. And in the library, you can search on underlining. You can do like keyboard, not keyboard, keywords. Okay, keywords or key phrases in the search. And you will be able to see all of those, you know, show me, guide me, let me try sort of activities, just as you would in the sim book. You'll be able to do that from the library as well. Okay, so way after the class is over, you'll be able to still access and use SimNet. Okay, it's a lifelong learning tool. Okay, any questions, anything that I can clarify for you? Okay, well, that's all that I have for today. If you have any questions, again, Troy is your dedicated tutor for the class. And Troy, are you still on here?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, are you still not having access to the chat?
No, I don't have access.
Okay, so just speak, you know, your email and your phone number, and I'll put it into chat.
Okay, so my email is trice, that's TRICE 0008
Okay.
yes.edu.
Okay, so that's in the chat. for you all to see. Can you all see the chat?
Okay, I have access now.
Okay, awesome. All right, so Troy's email address is trice0008@kctcs.edu. And Troy, what's your phone number?
230-9016.
Okay, 230-9016. So Troy can definitely assist you with any lingering questions you have. Okay, and then I'll be on for office hours later this evening. Okay, from 10 to 11 p.m. 10 to 11 p.m. for 1 hour. So if you need any help at all, do not hesitate to reach out to me. You can shoot me an email. My email address is sherry.jacob@kctcs.edu. I've put that into the chat. Okay. And just tell me, I need to meet between 10 and 11 tonight. Okay. And if you have a particular time that you can meet, I basically meet in 15-minute increments. Okay. Most things are handled in 15 minutes. Okay. So 15-minute increments, and we can actually meet one-on-one, and I can walk you through anything that you need. Okay. So hopefully that makes sense, and I look forward to working with you real soon. Okay. If you need additional assistance after today's session, I'm going to stop the recording now, but if you need additional assistance, you can definitely stay on. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good day.
You too.